Hello and welcome to the start of the BlackBerry vs National Instruments Preseason AHGL game. This match we have a PvP on Alter Zeem Stronghold to kick us off. Looks like the players are fairly close in experience and league, although Krighton has obviously been playing more recently because he has the cool new Carbot Zealot portrait. And we'll have to see where they spawn in just a minute. Okay, spawning down in the bottom right-hand corner, we have Krighton for Team BlackBerry, Red Protoss. Top right, we have for National Instruments SolidLuck, the Blue Protoss. And while normally PvP is an exciting one-base all-in fest, the fact that they're spawning in somewhat unusual locations on a large 4-player map with an easily defended expansion, maybe, just maybe, we'll see some 2-base play. And already the observers are commenting on just how ball-shaped our BlackBerry logo is. The AHGL has requested that we not use company logos, so in the interim we're using the BlackBerry Fruit. As you can see, our fruity team is just looking lovely today. Very well coordinated. The red of the Nexus going with that very ripe black of the BlackBerry. And so far, nothing particularly exciting. The days of doing proxy 2-gate in PvP, which was probably just the Wings of Liberty beta, are over. Very mirror matchup, living extremely close together here. Slight edge to SolidLuck, who has gotten his 14th probe out a fraction of a second earlier. And let's see if he can maintain this lead going through the rest of the game. And it's just fractions of a second earlier, especially that second simulator. Yep. Does it really matter which base I'm watching here? You know, the pylon about to go down and Krighton bit, yep. Yep, okay. I'm just gonna stick at one base and we can assume that the other base is the same, just off in a different corner. Ah, the glory of mirror matchups. What's this? Next core. Is it the exact same? Yes. Okay. Now they haven't actually found each other yet. Their probes just passed in the night, no damage. One scouting clockwise, one scouting counterclockwise, just to make sure that they both scout each other last at the same time. So when we say mirror matchup, we mean if you draw a line here, right across the middle of the map, it's about the same. Ooh. What's this? Did Krighton go for a pylon faster? SolidLuck, there's the first difference in the game. SolidLuck now beginning with gateways and production with a sentry. Bit of a more defensive build. Looks like Krighton's going straight for the Stalkers. Might even be going for a Blink Stalker in the end. I don't know, on this map where you have such an easily defended second base, I have a feeling that the aggressive move is not going to pan out so well now that they've actually gone into different buildings. Oh, and I missed the first kill of the day. I was going over to grab some Red Bull. Red Bull is one of the sponsors of the AHGL, and that does mean they supply me with all the Red Bull I can drink, but I get some of it myself anyway, just to thank them for their support. And apparently to kill my taste buds. But I'm sure that's a known issue, and that they're working on it. Yep, Sentry and Stalker still fairly defensive there. The only real difference being a Sentry for a Stalker with Krighton. Mothership Core is sort of wandering around, maybe checking the map for minerals that have gone out of their bases, like they sometimes do in these extension mods. Oh, we appear to we made the map wrong. It's supposed to have the AHGL logo there. Next game. For now, I'll just keep repeating that this is an AHGL match so that you understand and remember. And here's the first scout of the game. Apparently looking at his own base was not enough to know what Krighton was up to. This is going to spot everything. It's going to spot the extra gateway, Twilight Council, Dark Shrine. Not really what you want to see scouted. And of course the second base coming up. Over here we have a Robo instead of Dark Shrine. Much more reliable tech path if you get to it before the Stalkers arrive, and the fact that the Stalkers are heading back suggests that that will happen. So the Robo for observers and portals, you've got a definite chance here for SolidLuck to hold off any push by Krighton. Boy, I bet those Stalkers feel silly now coming back to defend against them. Oh, maybe he's just playing defensive, conservative game. I believe the Phoenix saw the Dark Shrine getting observers out. Really going to cramp that for Krighton. Maybe he won't even go through with it. Nope, no, he's going through with it. There they are, the Dark Templar. Ready to try and sneak past the observer at the ramp with sentries and stalkers. Can they make it? Well, pole position wins. Fortunately, though, that was a diversified risk, and he didn't actually lose every Dark Templar. But one Dark Templar for 9 hit points of damage on a Stalker just isn't worth it. At least he's got that second base to fall back on, not as well developed as SolidLuck. I think it was giving SolidLuck a bit of a decisive advantage to start with, but he's not capitalizing on it. He's just sticking back, waiting for Mortals. I know Twilight Council, maybe he'll wait for his own Dark Templar, because that's the only way to beat Dark Templar. But it's not the only way to beat Cerberus. Got some use out of the last two. That Archon's going to do fairly well. Just tanking the damage for Stalkers if it ever gets to a battle. Zealot Blade. Now that's I would definitely expect to blink. But it looks like with Templar Archives, we're going to end up having some Zealots. Some Archons. Don't usually see Storm in PvP, but that could just be because I don't usually see PvP get that late in the game. You probably noticed the hallucinations already. Hallucinations take extra damage compared to regular units. So if you know the damage that normally should happen against the Phoenix, you can do one shot, see if that's normal or extra, and figure out the hallucinations there without needing your fancy detectors. Boy, SolidLuck does love this hallucinated Phoenix. It's the other obvious tell is hallucination, hanging on shouldn't have taken damage. Well, so far it's just scouting and not doing much. And getting that third is going to continue to provide the size advantage for SolidLuck. This new macro style of PvP, it's good to see some variety. But I don't really know what's going to happen. We've got Zealot Legs with no Zealots just yet. Zealot Legs as well from Krighton, but at least he has Zealots, so I can understand. And everyone's just sort of sitting back, very comfortable on 2 to 3 bases. Without doing any aggression, Krighton really isn't doing anything to take away the lead of SolidLuck. He's just going to continue to stay in the lead there, especially with that earlier expansion. Krighton could have easily taken a third due to the complete lack of pressure from SolidLuck. I'm not sure if he could have held it. There are these constant Phoenix scouts, which do know where the proxy pylon is. And maybe the Stalkers are going out to try and clear that, leaving the core of the very big, expensive unit army back at base. More and more Immortals. You know, if you keep building Immortals, Krighton's already switched over to adding Zealots and Archons, and Immortals don't do quite so much damage against them. What was it again? Only 24 with 2 upgrades, so I think it's a base damage of 20. Yeah. Versus armored over double, there's no armor. Now now we're getting the Zealots in there. Zealot Archon. If it weren't for the fact that he's about a full base behind, I would say Krighton might have a superior composition. All those Immortals just aren't... they deal damage. That's definite, but I just don't think they're really cost effective against a Zealot Archon army. Dealing a bit of damage against the Archons, and the Zealots will just tear them apart. Because the Zealots, using 2 attacks, or 2 smaller attacks, can rip through the hardened shields as if it's not there. Another advantage for SolidLuck, head on upgrades. I do hope that Krighton had watched the last stream, the games of BlackBerry vs Krighton. There were all these games where one player was obviously ahead and could have won if he just attacked. And while I don't think that's the case here, it would be more entertaining if one of the players thought that. He's getting my hopes up. He's teasing me. Yeah, he's just gonna move a few feet forward. You know, maybe he's just all excited about all these the NFL games that have been around recently, and he's happy for a gain of 10 yards. I mean, uncontested gain of 10 yards. Nothing to laugh at, right? Ah, switching to Void Rays. No, just the occasional one. 2 Stargates coming out, Void Rays. We've got the +3 weapons coming out, and if he's not going to attack soon, begs the question of when. I'm a little surprised to see the Templar Archives here from Krighton, because if you want Archons, you can get them via Dark Templar. So the Templar Archives, without getting Storm, I don't know, is you want to feed back sentries? Got scouts everywhere. Got a 4th base coming up. SolidLuck. Again, uncontested. Going back to the football analogy, this game is like if the offensive and defensive line were just sat around and talked, left everyone unguarded. Ooh, an attempted attack. The Dark Templar did some hull damage to the Zealot. Very exciting. All that minor hull damage on the units, like this one from earlier on, it's going to add up in time. Ooh, and they're getting my hopes up again. 2 armies positioning here. And there's definitely an advantage to SolidLuck. Definitely an advantage. But I do feel that with a good engagement, better use of those sentry force fields, there's a chance for Krighton to get this, especially if he adds Storm. I don't know why there isn't more Storm in PvP. You can see everything's just clustered in this tight little ball. If you storm that, you manage to do a real large amount of damage. What he really needs is the MP, but the Protoss don't like that for some reason. Maybe they're worried it'll go off by accident. More Templar. Engagement that will determine the fate of the Corpulus sector. Or will there? Stay tuned for next week's episode. Ooh, Tempest. Now I don't really like the Tempest in the composition for actually fighting, but they have just such range that you can force the other army to engage. Either you sit back and let the Tempest tickle you to death, or you are forced to engage the giant ball of units under them. And note that the damage versus massive, the massive damage versus massive, is only on the air attack. Those Archons are not really going to notice the Tempest shots that much. It will actually deal one less damage than an Archon shot, but be slower. And have no splash. Must Must not like sentries in his composition here, expending that to scout. Could have instead used hallucinations, but, well, that 200 pop limit is very constraining when you never attack. So, run by. This might be dealing the first real damage in the game. We got a cannon, like Stoic, positioning here. Found that proxy pylon, not that one. Good for there. Here's the final of the big battle. Here we go. There's no storm yet. There's some storms right on the army. Big engagement. Storms falling down. Just the air left. The Archons definitely have a chance against that. And the Stalkers pick off Tempest easily. The Archons man pick that off over Colossus. That was an excellent engagement from Krighton. And now he's just going to push forward and try and wrap that up. There's definitely a huge bank for SolidLuck. He's warping in Zealots against the Colossi and Archons. There's definitely a chance that Krighton will be able to keep momentum. I forgot the Tempest to use the air attack against the Colossus, but definitely counter there. No force field protecting against the Zealots. Those are going down. There's those Archons getting really confused and having a big wish to kill the Tempest, but no, they're needed really against the Zealots. And looks like SolidLuck has managed to halt that. Did lose a large army, but he was ahead economically. He has a massive bank still, and he's able to hold that off. He's not going to try and continue the pressure with just Zealots, which would have been a little aggressive. And wow, that was a big battle. Massive Colossus on both sides. They're just going to sit back and macro for a while. It appears to be their stop. Yeah. Maybe there's a coffee break in between battles. The Protoss are an extremely civilized race. Very advanced. I'm sure they know all about coffee breaks. And despite the effectiveness of the storms in the last engagement, SolidLuck's having none of it. He only wants Archons. No? Oh, are these not merging? I don't know why. Still hasn't researched storm. There we go. Yeah, the Archons seems to have given up on the Colossi. And the Tempests, obviously, are a great counter for Colossi. There's another Zealot warp in there. Dark Templar showing good versatility on defense as well as attack, managing to take out that pylon. We've got 4 pylons kind of all over the place. 5th base there. We're going to 5 bases. SolidLuck's almost finished rebuilding his army. He's way ahead of Krighton in that. Even though Krighton has plenty of resources, it looks like he's trying to avoid going for too many Zealots at once. Maybe he just doesn't have enough warp gates. Going again. Oop. They're probing. These Zealots are finding out rough position of his forces. SolidLuck's gonna go for it. He has managed to rebuild a much larger army. No Colossi this time. 1 Archon caught out of the way. There they go. Where are the storms at? Ooh! Not bad. That's a big damage off those Zealots. Unfortunately, the lack of soldiers compared to last time. Those warp rates might actually be able to win. Oh, and nothing to kill the Archons either. Looks like SolidLuck, despite losing all the Zealots, these storm Archons, was able to just power through with his own Archons. The warp rates uncontested. A couple of mortals still alive. And this is going to be very difficult for Krighton to hold. Basically only got the resources left to build Zealots in large numbers. And SolidLuck had his own Zealots in large numbers, not to mention the Archons. That's a GG from Krighton. Very macro, very big army style PvP play. Quite unexpected, but I suppose that's the map for it. And we had some excellent back and forth engagements, both of them. But yeah, still a very high skill level game for the AHGL. Impressive play by both players. And let's get ready to go on into the next game.